Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is the art of letting go. And this topic is one that's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's one that I experience a lot. And I think sometimes in my letting go process, I feel sorry for myself and I go, "Oh, I have to let go so much." And it's something that I'm alone in, that I have such a difficult time that I have to do it all the time. And I know, I mean, it's easy to kind of fall into that trap to think that I'm alone in this, but I know that I'm not, and that's really why I want to bring it up today, and it, to be our topic today, because everybody has to do letting go in their lives, and we we have to let go of small things, and we have to let go of big things. But letting go is something that we all have to do. And I mean, this is how, I mean, that all of the little letting goes that we go through in life, we can see as practice for the big letting go, because we all have to go through the big letting go at some point in time. And as we go on in life, there are it seems bigger and bigger letting goes as we approach and prepare for the big one. So that's something I try to remind myself as I go through each of my little letting goes, is that hey, this is, as much as painful as it may be right now, just know that this is in preparation, and that this is something that can help when we get to that moment. That I almost said final moment, and I think I will say it. That final moment, so that we can be prepared and we can let go with ease instead of clinging desperately, which is what we tend to do. Is that this is part of the illusion of self. So that's part of it's part of Buddhist practice, is the idea of non-self, right? That the ideas of I, me, and mine are an illusion, and that this illusion is one of the things that causes us to suffer a lot. Is that we tend to associate everything that happens to me. Why did this happen to me? And I remember my first meditation retreat. There's this great example that you wake up, there's a terrible storm, and you wake up the next morning after the storm, and you go to the right side of your house, and you look out the window, and wouldn't you know it, your next door neighbor Mabel, a tree has fallen and has crushed her Prius. And you look and you go, oh, how terrible. Poor Mabel, her Prius has been crushed by the tree. And then you walk to the left side of the house, and you see your garage, and you see outside your car, your Prius has also been crushed by a tree, and you go, oh my goodness, and then we catastrophize, and we go, what a tragedy, my Prius has been destroyed. This is so much worse, when in fact, if you look at it objectively, the same thing is just happened twice. So that's the illusion of self that kind of goes along with letting go, because once you realize, or and of course this is related to belief as well, the idea of non-self. So if you agree that non-self exists, then or non-self exists, or the self doesn't exist, then letting go becomes something that's easy to do, or a lot easier to do, at least in theory, right? So I guess that's something that's helpful to think about and to rationalize for this process of letting go. So, why did I choose this topic today? And by the way, I just realized as I was coming on, I was looking at the date, and here in Singapore, it's Tuesday, November 5th. And that it just didn't occur to me until I looked at it this morning. I go, that date sounds familiar. And then I'm like, oh, right, that's the U.S. election day. So that's another part of letting go, right? So if your candidate loses the election, how does that feel, right? Is it possible to be accepting of that and to let go that it's happened? If your candidate wins, is it also possible to let go of that? What prize do you get? Do you get, do you get a check in the mail? Like, what is it that you win? Is it gloating rights? Make your neighbors suffer because you're, ha ha ha, we won, you lost, So, is it that's interesting to think. It's November 5th. Is it possible that after these next couple days are over, will it be possible to let go of whatever the results are and to accept that this is the way forward for Americans? So, anyway, why did this topic come up for me? Why do I think that I have some kind of inordinate amount of letting go? Is my role in my family. I always think of my job is to pick up to be the right hand man of my partner. So when things are difficult, for me to be able to pick up the slack. So she's the primary breadwinner of the family, and so is it possible for me to let go of the things that I'm doing to really be able to take care? And so when we moved from Hong Kong to Singapore, that there was certainly a letting go, as I had established my meditation teacher business there. And, am I able to let go of what I've built up there? And just to remember that this is a part of me. This is a part of what I have signed up and agreed to do. This is part of my duty, I believe, to be adaptable. And when things change, if we have to move back to Hong Kong tomorrow, or we have to move to Tokyo, or we have to, maybe we have to move to New York, right? Is it possible? Can I be cool with that? Can I be okay with that? Can I be okay with wrapping up whatever projects, whatever things that I'm working on here in Singapore? Can I be ready at a moment's notice to let go of it all and to start over again? And I think that's something that the more that I do this, the more that I go, okay, I'm okay with this, and that's just part of it. And I've had my in-laws living with us for a while, and they've gone away. They're with one of their other sons, and now I have more childcare responsibilities. And so that has changed my life again as well. So I had, things that I'm working on. Can I let go of those things? Can I come back and can I go, hey, what's important now? Right? And I think that's the real, that's the 3 breaths to recenter, right? I think it's like a 1-minute recording that I have here on Insight Timer, right? That's breath number 3, right? What's important now? And that's the end of the practice too, by the way, right? It's like concentrating, breathing in, focusing on the feeling of my breath. The second breath, can I use my breath to try to have a bit more relaxation in my body? Third breath, what's important now? And I think that's a practice that we all can spend more time on. And again, as I reflect on it, and any time that I feel pity towards myself, like, oh my gosh, things are changing, I've got to let go. In the grand scheme of things, these are small things to let go of, right? There are people, undoubtedly, there are people on this chat here today that are letting go of somebody, right? Letting go of, I wanted to say things that are harder, but I don't really want to. I guess no need to use a euphemism there, right? That letting go of really important lifelong relationships like that. That's a lot harder than just letting go of like little things that are going on in life. So, whether it just be changes, right? Like small changes, um, you know, yeah, I'd say as I age too, the more the more I see the doctor, the more I find little things that I have to let go of, thing like it comes to, I'm aging, like things are changing. It's how it goes. And it's like I have to change what I eat. I've got to change all kinds of stuff. So, and so we talked about the big things. So let's just briefly, before we get into practice, think of the small things. Think of perhaps the smallest thing to let go of, and that is the breath inside the body. So we are letting go every single time we exhale. So we're breathing in, and we can't hold on to that breath forever. We can't let that breath stay, and we have to breathe out. We have to let go. We have to make room for that next breath. So we can actually practice letting go in every single time we breathe. So let's get into our practice. Get comfortable. If you like, you can allow your eyes to close. If you choose to keep your eyes open, I invite you to find a point, perhaps, maybe gazing 45 degrees downwards, just allowing your eyes to rest and relax, to lose focus. As you focus your attention on your body, on the feeling of being here right now. So what's it feel like in the crown of the head, the back of the head, the neck, the forehead, the eyebrows, the eye sockets, the muscles around the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the ears, the jaw, see if as you examine your body, if you find any tension. And as you find that attention, as you find that tension, if it's there, is awareness of that tension enough to help you begin to relax? What causes that tension? Is it possible to let go, to release, to let be things as they are? Feeling into the shoulders, the upper back, the lower back, the chest, the abdomen. And as we arrive at the abdomen, can you feel the movement of the abdomen with the breath? Does awareness of your breath affect your breathing in any way? Do you feel that your breathing extends in length? Does the breathing perhaps stay the same? Does it shorten and become faster? Do we end up wanting to control our breath when we find our breath and the sensation of breath? See if you can let go of that control. See if you can trust in the wisdom of your own body. After all, 95+% of the time, we're not aware of our breath. Our body just does it automatically for us. Otherwise, we would have suffocated long ago. Is it possible to let go? Trust. Trust in the body's innate inner wisdom to breathe. And you're just going along for the ride now. Aware of the expansion as the lungs fill with air, as the diaphragm moves downward and presses on the internal organs, making the abdomen move outwards. And then the reverse happening as we breathe out. Expansion, contraction. Just monitoring those feelings as best you can. Concentrating our attention on the feeling of breathing. And seeing if today you can pay special attention to the feeling of letting go. So as we breathe in, the filling of the body, the increased energy and vitality as we breathe in fresh oxygen, and then the release as we breathe out. Letting go of carbon dioxide, waste products of our metabolic processes. In followed by out, followed by in, followed by out, followed by in, followed by out, as the breath continues, moment by moment. And if you find your mind wandering, it's another opportunity to let go. To gently be aware of that thought. The one that you probably didn't choose to have. See if through awareness of that thought, you can just let it dissolve into the background of the mind. As we refocus the attention back to observing the breathing. The inhaling, and then letting go as we exhale. And if the thought returns, if it returns 10 times, if it returns 100 times, if it returns 1,000 times, just following that same process, knowing that you haven't done anything wrong. This is a normal, natural part of our meditation process. Become aware of the thought, release as best we can, and refocus attention back to our object of the meditation, and in this case, that is the feeling of breathing at the abdomen. And speaking of letting go, it's time for us to let go of this time of practice. So I'm going to ring the bell 3 times, and at the end of the 3rd ring, feel free to begin to move your body around, open your eyes, and transition out of this period of formal practice and into the period of the rest of our lives. All right. Thanks everyone for taking this time to practice with me, to be here for each other as well. How'd it go today? How was your practice? What did you find? Did you learn anything about letting go? Are you going through anything in your life right now that involves letting go? So feel free to write in the chat. I'm going to have a look at the chat here now. Shared humanity has been a running theme today on Insight Timer. Thank you, Jean. Thanks for sharing. A lot of tension around the election. Now, I believe it. You know, I don't feel it quite the way that you do, as I'm over here in Singapore. So I'd be kind of curious, but maybe at the same time happy that I'm insulated from the strong emotion that's over there. I certainly do get a lot as an American. I get a lot of questions. You know, on Saturday I had a swim meet, and one of my British friends from another club asked me if I'd voted yet or not. You know, I mean that is a common question, and I have to say, I think it's, you know, there's a lot of, I mean, it's a decision that does affect the whole world. So there is a lot of interest, let's say, from people from other countries too. The sun will still shine, the seasons will continue to change, nature will continue to embrace us, and we will all be together here on earth. Thanks so much, Jean. That's beautiful. And Dirk has mentioned letting go of somebody, and that's something that I hesitate to bring up directly, just because I want to be as unemotionally charging as possible. So I know that well, I mean, let's just say grieving is a process of letting go. And I do want to emphasize that word process, because you'll notice, even as you breathe, the letting go is not instantaneous, right? The letting go is a process of a few seconds, right? As we breathe out, it's a few seconds. And think about it as this is probably the smallest letting go that we experience. And it's already taking time. So imagine each time we get a bit bigger in the thing we need to let go of, the longer that process is going to be. So I think maybe we know intellectually that grieving is, you know, people say grieving is a process, but it really is something that takes time. And you know, in mind states too, you know, what mind state are you in right now? What story are you telling yourself about the situation that you're in? And does that story morph and change? And I'd say from my personal experience that the story that I'm telling myself usually changes after a few days. So I might have a very, very strong opinion, and I'd say that information, that knowledge is very useful, because I can always remind myself, because I know that intellectually. I go, this story is as true and as committed and as much as I believe that this is the absolute 100% fact, and that my emotion has convinced me as well that this is completely true, that in a few days I'm going to feel differently about this. Focus on your breath. Allow your body to relax. Ask yourself, what's the most important thing right now? Thanks, Jean. That's the 3 breaths to recenter practice. Thank you, Dirk. Thanks for being here. Rachel says, I'm going through a move and tons of things in my head that I have to do, but I was able to let go and drift away during that session. Thanks, Rachel. Liz, thanks for sharing. I really appreciate having this tie as I went on my walk. Time. Haresh, what you said earlier about the illusion of being the only one suffering resonated so much. Thanks, Haresh, for sharing. And thanks for sharing, thanks for sharing that with all of us. It's the most critical election ever. The outcome will affect everyone worldwide. It's a momentous decision, and unfortunately, a lot of voters will be voting emotionally instead of thoughtfully. And that's it. It's the most critical election ever. As I think that certainly feels like that right now. But I always try and go back and think about all of the past elections. Was Abraham Lincoln's election a more critical election? These kind of things to try to get perspective. And I'm not trying to say that it's not, right? I mean, obviously, objectively speaking, there is always one thing that's the most critical thing, right? And so it's possible over the last, however many elections we've had, that it's certain, in fact, that one was the most critical. Which one was that? Is it this one? I'm not so sure. So, it's always good to remember remember how our emotions are affecting things. And one side will be pitted against the other, like opposing teams trying to win the trophy instead of playing together as one team. And that's really interesting too. Is kind of the tribalism that is around that, and seeing differences instead of similarities. And again, whoever's team wins doesn't get a trophy. You don't get a check in the mail. You don't get a prize, right? So trying to remember that no matter what the outcome is, and trying to be accepting of it, and letting go. And boy, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be tough. I'm going to wish for the best for whichever team wins. Of course, I hope they pivot to feel what I feel is best. Yeah, worries about violence. At Insight Timer, we find our similarities and our unity and common humanity. But that's not how politics goes. But it doesn't mean that we as this community can't be a good example in that, to show that our common humanity, and that love and acceptance can be a way instead of hate and fragmentation. That this is possible, that we can we can, if enough people show that it's possible to be together and to let go of things peacefully, is that enough? And that's why we're here trying to make an impact on the world. I think so. I think that mindfulness and objectivity it really does make a difference in this human experience. And maybe not only can we make a difference, but because we have this superpower, or because we've been training this superpower, perhaps we have an obligation to do it as well. So thanks for joining everybody today. I hope you've had a good practice. I hope you're able to let go of the things in your life that need to be let go of, whatever they may be. And I guess, who knows what, by the next time I talk to you, it's probably going to be like in the middle of all of this. But my topic next time is completely different. So it's about rituals, and does ritual matter? Does that have an effect on our practice? So I'll try to. I suppose if you want to talk about what's happening there, we can kind of pivot and shift if that's really, really present on everybody's mind. But I'm going to try to have a topic that's different, so that we're maybe more able to let go of whatever that result is. All right. Do take care, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day or evening going forward. Join Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle and Insight Timer groups, and participate in some of the group chat that's in there, which it seems the problems with the group chat aren't totally resolved yet, even though I've been working with Insight Timer support to fix that. So just try and bear with it. And it seems everybody can post into the main feed. So if you want to write something, just post in the main feed. No big deal. Don't feel like that's more special or more precious than posting in the chat. I'm very happy to have you do that. And that's where the group meditations happen. So join in on the days that I'm off, and lots of other times there are group meditations that are hosted in there. So that can be very helpful for you if you'd like to meditate with somebody else. Okay, let's close practice the way that we do, and then I'll see you in about 47 and a half hours. So follow along with me if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all human beings around the world, especially the ones that I don't agree with, may everyone everywhere be happy and peaceful. All right. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, everybody, if it's your first time joining. I hope to see you again. And do take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.